Yeah, let me move that away. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Lori.
Hi, Donna. How are you tonight?
Good. How about you?
Good, good. I'm just rolling in. It's been, it has been a busy day. And
Yes,
just
it
like,
has.
yeah, we've been both of us busy. I mean, holy mackerel. Like, this is the first time I'm kind of really sitting down just to relax. I'm like, so, yeah. And I bet you are too.
Yeah.
Because I know
Sometimes
you.
it feels good just to do nothing.
Seriously, it's important, just to take a break. Like, I'm not even working and I'm, I shouldn't be this busy, but, I'm just busy. But, yeah, no, it's just one of those days, everything, because I had a late appointment this afternoon, a doctor's appointment, and I was coming back from that, and then I was hungry, and I thought, oh, I got to have a little supper. Did that, and I wanted to get all the dishes cleaned up. So just kind of running around.
Running.
So yeah, it's good to sit down and go,
Yes, it is.
yeah. Time with my bestie. Hello to everybody who's watching. We're glad that you're here. We have a friend of ours who's really a very special friend of ours, Zaid Garcia. He's the miracle burn survivor, and he was on our show before here, so you can go back and find it. It was, I don't know, maybe the right up there with the first 3 that we did or so,
Mm-hmm.
or first 4 or so. He's a very nice young man, and we enjoyed having him on the show last time. And the internet, for some reason, I don't know whose internet it was, whether it was mine or what, we all got knocked off of this live stream. And so I kept trying to get everybody back, but it was just useless. So I had to end the show. So it was too bad because we missed out on some of what he was talking about, which is really unfortunate because he was talking about his story. And so we told him, oh, yeah, hopefully you'll come back on with us. And so we're finally getting around to having him back here tonight. So he said he's going to be running a little bit late. So I told him, whenever you get here, that's fine. No worries.
Yeah. He's a sweetheart.
Yeah, he is. He's such a nice young man. Like he's got a heart of gold, and he just, he cares about people. And he's 22, I mean, he still likes, he's just like any regular 22-year-old. He likes to have fun. He likes to joke around, but he's got a real sensitive heart for, for people. He cares about people, and he's fun,
Yeah.
So I just think he's awesome. Yeah. So I'm really happy he's coming back with us for tonight.
Me too.
Yeah, me too. Well, we had that real serious show, the last show. If anybody didn't catch that, I hope that you will go back and check our last part 1 and part 2 last week, because we were talking about this documentary that we put out, Voices for the Voiceless advocacy documentary. And we were talking about, really, it was Donna Shear's 30th anniversary in advocacy world. And she was sharing a lot of stuff. You were sharing a lot of stuff. Sorry, you're sitting right there. About, just the advocacy world. Over half your life you spent in advocacy. To me, that's a big deal. I mean, I've spent a third of my life, so one third, so because I'm almost 60, and you've spent over half your life. That's amazing to me. So, it is a big deal, and I think that show was amazing, and I hope that people will go check it out.
It was. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed sharing, and a lot of the stuff that we talked about, like, I love this show. I'll tell you why. We don't plan on what we're going to say. We have no topic when we come on. And when we did that show, it was really nice because it was nice just to talk without, thinking in the back of my head, well, how am I going to answer this? How am I going to answer that? And a lot of people, they said, they're like, I love the quick responses. I love when you guys just think off the top of your heads. It's not all about, preparing for the show and reading from a piece of paper. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed some of the things that you asked me. It was like, wow, no one's ever asked me that before. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it myself. And I like this show, Women Like Me.
I do too.
Because it isn't scripted, and we just come on and you don't know where the conversation is going to go, because it just depends on what we want, right at the moment, what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So it is kind of more like a real talk show instead of being scripted, which to me is kind of boring, really.
Well, a lot of people will say to me, it's an informal chat, and I'll say, basically,
Mhm.
yeah, we just chat. We talk about anything we want to, anything that pops inside, our head. I said we say, like, there's
That's
no set thing that we agree to talk about. But I think a lot of people remember us from our AU4H days, our DTR days, the Tunana days, and they're thinking, okay, this is just another one of them shows, but this show is
Mhm.
completely different. We talk about fun stuff, crazy stuff. We laugh our asses off.
Yeah.
We never
Oh,
did that
totally.
before in any other shows.
No. Once in a while, we would start laughing because there was a few clips that you actually grabbed from us from years ago for AU4H radio, and where we'd be laughing about something. But it was very rare because
Yeah.
the topics were serious, and you really, when you're talking about serious things like domestic violence, bullying, child abuse, this sort of thing, you're not going to normally laugh at
No,
those things. So it
no.
was kind of rare that we actually had a moment to kind of laugh, and I think we were kind of laughing at ourselves sometimes, and it was funny. But um, you know, it's no wonder that those shows were serious because that's a serious
Yeah.
topic. So this is just fun. Women like me, we could talk about any issues coming up,
Yep.
and I think most women can relate, um, no matter what your age. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because we're talking about all sorts of things. Yeah, so it's fun. I really enjoy it. Yeah.
I do too. I enjoy sitting down. I enjoy that we do it in the evening time. I know a few of the shows that we were doing in the past, we were doing first thing in the morning. I'm
Mhm.
not a morning person, and let me tell you, it showed in those shows. I was not a morning person.
Yeah,
Big time.
it's hard to I mean, maybe it's for some people. I'm not saying, yeah, there's people out there that probably love to do morning stuff, but for me, you know, yeah, no.
No, I'm not a
I
morning person.
Yeah, I much prefer like a later in the day sometime or in the
Mhm.
evening because the morning time for me to just try to figure out 2 words, 2 sentences is kind of like it usually takes me a while. So I did all that broadcasting when I was broadcasting on Blog Talk Radio. I had to be at work early, so I used to be up at like 4:30 in the morning. I do my morning broadcasts and all this stuff, and then leave for work. I think I had to leave at 6:30 in the morning, and so I was up early doing all this stuff, and it was difficult
Yeah, yeah.
because 5:30 in the morning trying to talk, and it's hard. So I don't prefer that. I did it just because I didn't have any other time to do it, but I don't prefer it. Yeah, I much prefer this. This is
Yeah.
really nice.
I wasn't a fan of mornings, and a lot of times it would be like you would no more jump up and it's like, okay, immediately I have to get ready and then you start and then you're trying to read from a piece of paper because it was like, well, they want you to say this, this, and this. And with my vision, that was like impossible.
Mhm.
So I would have to read it the night before to have an idea what I was supposed to say.
Right?
It didn't work out. So I like the fact that we go on and we just say what we want. And I don't know, I really enjoyed it, but I did enjoy last week's
Yeah.
show. I
Yeah,
liked
me
it because, like I said, you asked me a lot of questions nobody's ever asked me before. And it's nice to explain it in like a long form because a lot of times you only have a few minutes to like answer.
that's
And
right.
this way it was so much nicer because I could stretch it out and I could say exactly, like what I wanted to say. So
Mhm.
it was nice.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, we weren't in it because it was like, we had um, the whole show to do this,
Mhm.
so there was no rush, and it's kind of you get to really think about things and slow it down. Whereas if you're in an interview type thing and you're trying to do it in an hour or
Yeah.
less, that's you're on a you have to be pretty choosy about how long you want to spend talking about something exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why this was good. Yeah, that was April 9th. So
Yeah.
Wednesday the 9th. So yeah, if anybody hasn't seen that, be sure and go and check that out. It's on Spotify now. You can grab all that stuff. I usually try to have the shows on Spotify by Thursday night, if not for sure by Friday, because it just depends on how things go for me Thursday. But because I have to wait to download them, it's like a period like 12 hours or 24 hours. I'm not sure for them to be downloadable on YouTube, and then I can take them and put them around. So if you guys didn't know, check our links below because we're on iHeartRadio now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we're also on Amazon Music. You can find us on Amazon.
right on.
I know, we're like,
I saw that. I was like, yay, that's exciting.
it is
Very cool.
exciting.
Yeah. So now I got to add those links. So I don't have those links in the description, but I will. So
Okay.
there's all sorts of places you can listen to us if you want to listen to audio. Let's say you're in your car and you can't do the video. You're on your way to work or taking a little road trip or something. You can always tune into us with audio as well. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know locally in my community, we get a lot of people that they like the audios better than the videos. And it's funny because like, I'm always saying like, we do funny little things and we'll laugh. And they're like, I wish I could see the videos, but a lot of them are, like you said, they're driving on the way to work or,
Yeah.
they're going somewhere. I know a couple times when we were out fishing last year, we would put the podcast on and we would listen to different shows you and I did. And we'd be there, we would kind of like laugh because like when you would laugh, we would be laughing. And then I would have to tell the story behind why we were laughing so hard. It was cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It is a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's different. This is like a totally different format. I love the freedom to say what I want. Once in a while, I slip up and I say fug, F-U-G-G, fug. It's better than the other word. But, but on the other stations, we couldn't do that because we had a lot of young listeners. So I enjoy the fact that we're not restricted. We're not R, but in the same sense, if we say something, we're not offending anybody. And I really like that.
Yeah, that's right. Because, neither of us really just cuss all the time.
No.
So the last show, I said a few bad words because we were talking about the issues of child abuse.
Fine.
And every time we talk about child abuse, I end up throwing some bad words out. Some pretty bad cuss words. But I was trying to keep it to a minimum.
Yeah. I got a message from Lexi this morning and we get a lot of times I get different news stations or newspapers and they'll say, will you comment on this article? So I sent my thing instantly to Lexi and she sent it into him. And I said, once it posts, could you please put it over on the AU4H Facebook page? And she's like, no problem. I got it. On there, I said the F word and she's like, I can't believe you said. And I says, no, I didn't say the F word. I said fug. And she's like, wait, come up the F word. And I'm like, well, it may have come up the F word, but I didn't say the F word. I said fug. And she goes, you're really getting sick of these people. And I said, I am. I said, I'm not being rude. I said, every day that you wake up the headlines of another kid being abused or assaulted or sexually assaulted. This particular topic was a parents let their teenage daughter, preteen age daughter, go to a local fire company and spend the night on the weekends at that fire company with a 55-year-old man. Now, I'm not saying it's the parents' fault, but I'm saying who the hell would trust somebody with their preteen daughter at a fire company that you don't know, let alone we know that family members sexually assault children. We know that other people close to your children sexually assault them. So why would you leave your child go to a fire company with somebody you don't know? Anyway, I had this big long thing. And when I said it, I said fug. And she's like, it sounded like it said the F word. And I said, no, it's fug. I try not to swear because I said, I have grandchildren. I try not to say those words. The last thing I need is one of them saying that. So
that's it. Yeah. You have to be careful because, you work around children. So you have to watch your language. I'm around adults all day, so I'm never around children. So I just say whatever comes out, you know what I mean? And I try not to cuss, I really do, because I try to keep it to a minimum. Sometimes it's just necessary. It feels right. And in those moments, I think it's okay. Yeah. Because some things need that explicative, whatever the word is.
Most definitely.
Because the situation's calling for it. And so, when you're around children, I can totally see, because you don't want them, because, they just emulate, they copy you, they'll copy whatever you say. And then they'll say, well, you say it, how come we can't say it? Right?
That's true. I try not to swear at all around the kids. I know I even had a couple volunteers and they were really big on swearing. And I'm like, if you're going to be here and you're going to volunteer with me, you cannot swear around the children. I mean, it's just a definite no. And I know a couple of them, they've kind of caught themselves ready to say something and then they stopped. But, I said, I'm like, when you're working with children, you can't you can't be swearing. You can't be calling people names. You know, you got to be respectful because they look up to you.
That's right. If you're about ready to say something like, shizzle sticks.
Yeah.
Shizzle sticks. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, right? I know.
Well, I have this saying that I say, and I'll say, "Holy Hello Kitty."
I
And
know.
they'll be like,
So
"Oh, Miss Donna, you can't say that." And I'll say, "What? All I said was Holy Hello Kitty." That's a bad word. And I'm like, "Do you know Hello Kitty?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, all I said was hello to Hello Kitty." We're like, "Okay, can we say that?" No, you can't.
That's so funny. I know. First time that I heard you say that, I laughed so hard. I was like, "Oh my god, that is so funny." Some of the stuff you come up with is really funny. I just sit there and shake my head because I'm like, I can't believe this. This is too funny. But yeah, it's it's good because it's, I think that's why, like, sometimes, like I said, there's nothing wrong. Like,
No.
to throw a cuss word out, sometimes it's necessary, and then when it's necessary, it's people don't so much mind it. But it's like when you just every other word is a cuss word just for whatever. That's
Yeah.
when it sounds
I
really,
know
really
people like that. I know
trashy.
people like that. And
Yeah. Oh
every
yeah.
word out of their mouths, like the F-bomb. And I'm like, hello, like you have kids. Hello, like you're in public. Like
Mm-hmm.
they
They
don't
don't
care.
care. No, it's no big deal to them. Yeah, we're in stereo. They don't care. That's true. They don't. So yeah, no, a lot of people don't, and that's hey, that's up to them. Whatever.
Yeah.
I used to be like that when I was young, and I used to cuss all the time until about the age of 23, and then it just someone told me that I just really should stop that. You know what I mean? They were like,
Mhm.
it doesn't look good on you, and I'm like, really? They were like, because I was just used to saying, whatever these words were, I would just insert them wherever. Like, oh, I'm going to the effing store. Oh, we got to pick up some effing this, and it was just always there as part of the sentence. And this person said, it doesn't look good on you. You should get rid of it. And so I really worked hard for like about a year to clam up my mouth every time I wanted to say some cuss word. And by the time I was done, I was like cuss free. So it was good. It was really good. So now I don't really cuss unless I'm really mad. I have to be really upset. Yeah.
I know one time I was probably 14 or 15 years old. I said a cuss word. My mom smacked my mouth. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, I thought she knocked my teeth out. Like
Mm-hmm.
she really smacked my mouth. She's like, "Don't you say those words?" And I'll tell you, I did not swear for, oh my goodness, years and years and years. I was probably like in my 40s when I started swearing. And like that's old, to be swearing. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget, I got out of bed one morning and I stubbed my toe and I'm like, "You mother trucker." And I'm hopping around the bedroom and it was just like from that point on, it just seemed like every time I got mad, I would swear. And then one day I'm like, you can't just be swearing like that. So then I kind of I cut it back. But if I say anything, it's not usually like in front of anybody or to anybody. It's just like when we're joking around or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, sometimes sometimes if I'm upset and angry, sometimes I do cuss a little bit,
Also,
but
I've
I
been
try
there.
to keep it to a minimum on here, especially because it's just like it's not necessary to be cussing all the time on here. It's just not. Some people may like it, but to me, it just sounds kind of crash, not very
Yeah.
nice. It's like,
Not from
not
two
cool.
sweet old ladies. We can't be swearing on here.
Well, because that's the thing. I used to have a foul mouth. My mother had a really like everybody used to say she had a sailor's mouth. Like my mother who taught me to cuss. So I learned how to cuss from my mother.
I had a
You know.
friend, Laura, and she used to swear. I used to say like a truck driver, but I mean, she like had such a bad
Yeah.
mouth. I mean, every other word would be the F-bomb. And then she was constantly saying different things, and God rest her soul. I'm sorry, Laura, but she had a really bad mouth for a woman.
Yeah, some women are like that. My mom was like that. Man, she was something else. And so it's kind of no wonder that I ended up having that kind of language. I just picked it up. It's just this is what you do. So yeah, that's why it's good to lose it. I'm really glad that I did because I don't need it. But every now and then, like I said, something will come out. Or if I'm in a lot of pain, I might say something like, oh, the shizzle sticks or something. Um, Yeah, but I don't go all in these irate, crazy, cussing fests anymore like I used to.
No.
So there's only been a few times online on my own show, the whole issue there, where I was talking about some stuff that was really important to me to get out how upsetting it was to me. And I wanted people to know. And so I did use some very foul language, but it's not my norm. Like I don't walk around
No.
talking like that. And I
No.
don't, not in my daily life, not anywhere. Sometimes it just comes out when I'm, especially dealing with stuff about child abuse. It just makes me angry, and then usually there's some sort of a cuss word that'll come out. And I'm like,
It's fine.
oh well, it's just the way it is.
Like I said, it happens. None of us are perfect, and we do the best
That's
we
right.
can do.
That's it.
But I have other words I use in the swear words place.
What's that?
I said I have other words I use. I'll say like
Ooh.
mother trucker or
Oh, I know.
fug or
Fudge
holy
nuts.
Hello Kitty.
All this stuff that I get from you, because I get this. You're so funny. Like I learn all this stuff from you, because this stuff I don't even know it until you say it, like Hello Kitty and all this. Now I'm walking around going, Hello Kitty. It's like people are looking at me like, okay.
Yeah. Holy Hello Kitty.
Yeah. And fudge nuts, things like this, shizzle sticks, things like that. Yeah, I learned
I'll
all
never
that.
forget the first time I said that I was going to throat punch somebody.
Oh, I know. And you're like a nonviolent person. Like
I
that's the thing.
know, but I went on that trip, and that was the time when they were saying that, they weren't supporting the central registry being open, and these people, they were saying all this really nasty stuff to us. And I'm like, I'm going to freaking throat punch somebody. And
Mhm.
everybody started laughing, and I'm like, come on, I'm not even violent, but it's just a fact. Like, you just get so sick and tired of people sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes things come out like that, and it's it's just words. It doesn't mean you're really
No,
literally going to go hit somebody in the throat. You're just not going to do that. You're
no,
not like a violent person. This I
no.
know. We're like against violence.
Yeah,
Unless it's self protection, and then yeah, bring it on, because I'm going to protect myself.
me too.
But I'm not about like we're trying to stop abuse and violence. So when Donna says that, it's kind of bizarre, because most people think, well, you're supposed to be this nonviolent person who's standing up against abuse, and she's like, I'm going to throw a punch. It's just talk. It's just
people forget you're human. People forget you're
yeah.
human, and you joke and you say things too. Like, just because we sit here and we say about stopping child abuse or domestic violence or whatever, it doesn't mean in our home life or our personal lives we're not funny, or we don't laugh, or we don't joke, or we don't swear, because we're human. I mean, everybody's human.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect, and what
No,
you
that's right.
see isn't how we are all the time. Like, when I'm out there advocating, you see somebody that is very strong, I'm very opinionated, and I have a big voice. But in my personal life, I don't treat my friends and family like that. We
Yeah.
laugh, we joke, we have a good time. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, so when you see me in that position, yes, I'm going to be a very strong-willed woman. But when I'm at home, no, I want to laugh and joke and have a good time. And you and I are like the people that, like, we'll say things, and it's like, it's only things that we would say, like sitting at home in our living room joking to each other. Like, it's not like we would go out and say it to somebody else. It's just,
No, that's
we're
right.
joking around.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's the thing. I mean, I am totally a non-violent. I don't promote violence of any kind
No.
towards anybody. I just don't like it. I think it's wrong. And, I mean, it's sad that we have to, you know, think, okay, if somebody was going to attack me, would I defend myself?
Yes,
Definitely.
most
But
definitely.
not to just, I'm just a non-violent person. I just don't like violence. So yeah. But every now and then, you say, you get to joke around and whatnot, and that's just it. We're
It's
just
fun.
joking.
Yeah.
Um, and this is women like me. This is a show, like if you read the description, where we really wanted to have fun on this show.
Yeah.
Not making fun of people, not
No,
running people down,
I'm
nothing
not that
like that.
person. You're
Maybe
not that
making fun of ourselves or something, laughing at ourselves most likely. But we wanted to just come on and be lighthearted, and
person.
sometimes we do talk about serious stuff. Like
Oh,
that's the thing.
yeah.
But other shows wouldn't, because that's what I'm saying. It's not scripted, so you never know where the conversation is going to go. and we just sit and just yak about the week or whatever's been happening and joke around. And it's supposed to be kind of lighthearted because we did so much serious broadcasting for so long, like you know thousands and thousands and thousands of hours between us. I mean, unbelievable. um, that we were serious because we had to be. But now we're like, no, let's just have fun. This was a great idea. This show is Donna's idea, actually, just in case people don't know that. And so, yeah,
Our
I thought it
idea.
was a great idea.
We're a
Well,
team.
yeah, I mean, it's a combined effort, but still, the concept was yours, and I liked it. I was like, yeah, so cool. Oh, there's our friend Zaid. Should we bring him
Oh,
on?
nice.
All right. Do you want to go on the? Do you want to stay on the top or do you want to go on the bottom, Donna?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. I'm going to bring him on. Hello, hello, Zaid.
Hello.
How are you tonight?
Good.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah. We're just hanging out, napkin.
Sorry if I'm late, guys. Oh,
Oh, no problem.
You're
No, no
fine.
worries. Mm-hmm. That's right. No worries at all. It's totally cool. Yeah, we're only half an hour in. We were just yakking. Yeah. How has your day been?
let's see. It's been good. Um, wait, hold on. I've been working. I just been writing a story today. It's
Oh, cool.
about. Sorry.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's science fiction. And it's in the future. It's like around 3028, I think. And it's like it's about aliens coming to invade uh Earth,
Oh,
but
Nice.
to save the planet.
oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome. Hello. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, you're very talented, that's for sure.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you're very creative. Um, that's obvious. I love your series, the equally messed up audio series.
You see. Oh, really?
Oh, it's so good. I still haven't seen part 4 and 5 yet, but I'm going to because now like the week's gonna start to mellow out for me. I was just so busy all week and last week too. But the weekend I'm gonna take the weekend and watch all your stuff. So I've got your links here in the chat for anybody who wants to see them. Saeed is and his friends are they're they're really like a team, and it's
Hmm.
called Jump Eileen. But they work on audio series like storytelling, and they all have their parts that they play. It's like an audio. It's an audio play. It's so cool. There's music, and it's just so cool. Yeah.
It's like back how you say, back in the when there was used radio, I believe.
Right. That's right. Before TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how people were entertained by radio. That's right. And so they would do these plays, like radio plays. Yeah, so cool. That's what it is, and it's so cool. Like this, I'm getting into the story big time, and it's like that's I've been waiting to get to 4, and then 5 came out, and I'm like, oh, I haven't even got to 4 yet. So, but I don't want to rush and just rush through them because I really want to enjoy them. Like I want to get some shit like maybe popcorn and really sit back. It's
Enjoy
because
it.
it's just like this visual in your mind, when you're listening, and you can get right into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So that's what you were doing today, writing a book, writing a story.
Yeah, it's just science fiction, and it's it's, I guess, for people who who believe in aliens. I mean, like, I mean, some things may, and this is not like a prophecy book or something. This is just like,
Mm-hmm.
mm, like a made up story. It's
Hmm.
about just them coming to save the earth because the people have been fighting for years and years about like about nuclear wars and things like that, and the aliens are like, let's just take over so we can how you say it, like be done with this. And so they come and they invade, but then um the emperor who comes to invade has his own problem back home, and his home planet, and that just shows you that no matter, like, like, something could appear to be perfect, perhaps there's other things going on, like
Hmm.
Mhm.
you would think that the aliens don't have problems because they're fully advanced, like with their weapons and their technology and blah blah, but I
Mhm.
bet, I mean, this is just my personal opinion, I bet they have their own problems, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, they probably do. Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. Yeah, that's right. That's cool. That's really going to be so good. Yeah, that's amazing.
But what's
Yes,
different
it is.
about this one is, like, if I do get it out, I think I just gonna, like, read it more than voice acting thing. Kind of like,
Hmm.
read it and then, like, add sound effects with it. But also, like, that means I have to make other voices. But it's no problem. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to how you say, I talk to a friend about it, and my friend about it says, "Ooh, I don't think we have the people for it, because
Hmm.
the story had a lot of characters, and they had to have an accent, and I say, oh yeah, I see what you mean, so that's
Yeah,
why.
that would be kind of hard. Yeah, especially
Yeah.
if it's really um, a lot of people involved, like in the story, characters
Yeah,
and
because
things going
there's
on. It's hard.
10 of them.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
Oh, wow. 10.
Yeah, there is, like, I believe there is there's about 3 boys, and the rest of them are girls.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, two of them. Wait, no, not two of them. Three of them are married. Three of the girls are married, but the other ones, uh, there's three single ones, and then one of them who has a boyfriend already. But
Yeah.
and so they all have their own problems, and they're like leaders of military. Like, one of them is a captain, a battalion commander, or whatever, a major or a sergeant, whatever. And they just basically got chosen. They don't know that, like, they're being trained for something that's gonna happen. Like, like, in another, like, they don't know that the emperor is putting them in a war.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Wow. It's going to be
Sounds
interesting.
interesting.
Hmm. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. It does. Sci-fi is really cool. I like science fiction.
I do too.
Yeah. It really allows you um, to get out of the box of as far as thinking goes. You can become really creative and anything goes pretty much. That's cool.
It
Yeah.
is cool.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
You have
awesome.
any other projects you're working on, Zaid?
Let's see. I had that, and of course, we have equally messed up thing, the series to finish. But also, well, I'm working on one in Spanish. Now this story could be a little how you say, problematic, what's the word,
Oh, is it like problematic?
Well, like some people are like, mm, this could be a problem, or someone is like, uh, because it's about, it's about the story. It's about this girl that no, this couple, right? This boy falls in love with a girl, and basically, the boy wants to get marry the girl. However, her parents don't like him, because
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
they're rich. This goes back to the old days, like I don't know, like in the 1800s, perhaps, like in the 1851 or whatever,
Oh yeah,
like when ranch and like countryside was more, you know,
yeah. Like
Yeah.
people had big land parcels of land and
Mm-hmm.
big
exactly,
mansions. Yeah.
like animals and
Mhm.
So this story goes back to those times, and basically, um, the the parents don't like him, and so but he still fights for her. And
Oh.
yeah, in the end, he gets her. Um, he
Oh.
convinces her parents, and he marries her. The problem comes after their marriage because he tries everything, like he works hard, but then he ends up losing like everything, like animals, plants,
Oh yeah.
uh, things like that. uh, and you know how important farmers are, like their cattle and things like that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's right.
he thinks he's like, I'm poor, and and he even apologizes to his wife, like, I'm sorry, I failed you and all
Mhm.
this. And till one day his baby gets sick, and
Oh.
they have nothing to like pay, like meds and stuff. So then he goes at night, and then someone appears as a woman, and the woman bullies him. She's like, "Man, you people should have chose like not to be born. I don't even know why you born. If like if people like you knew that they were gonna be born in a bad situation or something like that.
Mhm.
And then he he says, he's like, my child is sick, and she's like, who cares about your child? And then she's like, but I know someone who can help you. And then he's like, well, who is it? And then she tells him that at night, to go to this up, like to climb this hill and mention his and summon his name. Basically, this it is based on a legend that
Oh.
in Mexico, yeah, it's based on a legend in Mexico called El Catrín.
Oh.
And basically, El Catrín made a, those legends. I don't know if they have them in Canada, but in Mexico and probably like here in America too, they make like these legends about someone making deals with the devil and things like that.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's basically it. And I some people could get offended because, like, they're Christians, and then some people are like, like, you telling people to make deals with some, and it's not like that. It's more to say, like, even if you believe in this or not, don't mess with things that, like, you
Right.
don't know.
No.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I think that's very cool. I think if you if you put at the end, like Donda knows about writing. If you put like a little piece in there about your own beliefs on it,
Mm-hmm.
and just say this isn't to promote doing deals with the devil or anything like that. It's to actually create awareness of don't sell your soul to the devil, man. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, That's what I'm gonna do because that way people don't misinterpret, because like I said,
Mm-hmm.
what that story is trying to say is that mm, sometimes unfortunately people choose their own way, and unfortunately they mess with things that perhaps they should not mess with.
Hmm.
They say you play with fire and you get burned, and that's what
Yes.
Yeah.
happened
Yeah.
because he ends up paying, afterwards. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good
Ooh,
story because it teaches a lesson, but it also, like,
that'll be a really good story.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to check it out.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Right
Does your
on.
mom like your writing?
I showed it to Mama actually. The thing is, I finished it a long time ago, and the thing is, I edited. Now I'm just editing it because like
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting like people sing with covers and stuff, and so I just put in those covers. But I showed it to my mom one time, and she liked it. She's like, "Wow, it's good, but it's scary." She says when it's that scene, when it's
Yeah.
that. She says that's
It
scary. She
is
says
scary.
she
Sometimes.
she wants to hear more, but the thing is, most of them are in English. That one though is in Spanish though, so
Mm-hmm.
she understands it fully.
That's cool.
And it's
That is cool.
mostly Mexican people doing it, in there.
Right.
Hmm.
That's cool though. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
So she under no like so she understands their accent, if that makes sense. Like
Hmm.
Right.
like the words they say in their ranch and like in their countryside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because it's their own language. It's like the native Mexican.
Yeah.
It's it wouldn't I speak like book Spanish, but not the native languages. So I can understand people speaking Spanish, but not anything that like a native language. No.
Mm. Me either.
So yeah, it's that's much different. Yeah. So that's cool. I think that's really great because you do songs in both English and Spanish, which is cool.
Hmm.
And nothing wrong with that. I like to listen to the ones in Spanish too because it's nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's okay to have books in English and in Spanish.
Hmm.
Some in English, some in Spanish. Nothing wrong with that. That's cool. Yeah.
It's
Well,
really
you're
cool.
busy. You're really busy. Oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I don't know how you keep all that straight.
I, I don't even know because I have to see sometimes I even stay like until 3 in the morning just right now what's been keeping me up, and I get that it's the story about the aliens. For some
Mhm.
reason, that's more interesting to me than the other ones.
Yeah.
You know,
That's that's
I
cool.
even I even paused equally messed up for a little while because like I need to like think about the aliens, like
Yeah.
what's gonna be the next activity they do because because the thing is the in the alien book like they play games, you know, but these games like make them prepare for what's coming in the future.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. It's almost like a video game. Like
Yeah.
um that's interesting. I've heard there was somebody who was talking to me just yesterday about this video game where these kids were playing what they thought was a video game, and there's a movie made of it. But I can't
Yeah.
Video Player One or something like that. Video Player One, and the
Yeah,
kids think they're just playing a game, but what it is the government's getting them ready to actually be in the war. So
exactly. So it's
yeah,
like that,
that's cool.
except
Yeah, but
except
it's
this
aliens.
time they're playing physically, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that's really
Like
cool. Yeah.
they are for example, one of them is like they had to compete with each other.
Hmm.
mm, they don't like they don't say you lose, bye, you loser, no, no, not like that. What actually was different about this one is that like they they all like each other, you know, like there's
Hmm.
no enemy, or there's no
Oh, okay.
like they don't get mad at each other. There is romance, you know, some romance, you know, but there is no like, hey, like I hate you, or like I'm jealous of you, or like, you know,
Hmm.
or like I think you should get lost, you know, nothing like that, you know. It's mostly like friends getting along and working as a team, you know,
Yeah.
and seeing what their emperor, because you know, I mean, this happens after the aliens invade Earth, you know.
Yeah.
Um, she says, sorry, the aliens, the emperor of the planet called Galvania, I think it's called, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, cool.
It was AI who named it, so you know.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
So because I asked a little bit of AI to help me, like, hey, you know, like help me search planet name, like make up planet names, you know. That's
Yeah.
what it came out with, you know.
Hey,
You
that's
use
awesome.
AI to write your stories?
Sometimes, not all the time. My friend Berlin from Hamailin, she told me, dude, you should use AI sometimes. Like, nah, because you know, like I feel like people depend too much on technology. She's like, well, perhaps it could help you. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe one day. And then I don't know why I try it, and I was like, you know what, maybe I could. And so I just I described the scene to AI. I said, look, this is the scene, you know, like they're playing in the water, and then you know, whatever, you know, and it gives a, how you say, it describes the action sometimes.
That's cool. Yeah,
That
that's
is
very
cool.
cool.
The
Well,
only
I
thing I
Never
never
don't
played
tried
like,
around
AI.
with it.
the only thing I don't like is that it forgets the
I haven't
name
either.
afterwards.
Oh, what's that?
The only thing I don't like is that um, if you don't mention some names, it'll forget it,
Oh, okay.
and then it'll replace it with other name. I'm like, no, that's not the name, and I have to tell it like that's not the name.
That's funny. I've never used it. I've never used AI.
No,
So,
neither.
but I've heard people talking about how cool it is. I've seen some stuff, but I've just never tried it. Yeah.
No.
So that's cool to know that it's handy like that when you're trying to write. That's very cool.
We'll have to remember
Yeah.
that, Lo.
Yeah, exactly. Because yeah, that's something to keep in mind. No, that's really cool. I think that's great. I think the sci-fi aliens coming to Earth to save the Earth will be fabulous, really, because
Yeah, and you know, another thing I forgot to mention is that it mixes everything. Like, it mixes people's beliefs about aliens. You know, it
oh,
mixes
oh
like
yeah,
the Men in Black are there too. You know, the
We
the
just
red,
watched that.
the red,
oh, that's cool.
I just
the
watched
red,
it today.
Oh wow,
I did.
the reptiles. You know, things like that. You know,
That's
like
cool.
they're all combined into one book. Let's just say it.
yeah,
Well, I can't
that's
wait to read it.
yeah, that's exciting. That's very cool. Hmm.
Once you publish it, you're going to have to come back on and share about it and let us read it.
Yeah,
All right, thank you.
are you going to do it as a written book or just an audio series?
I think I'm gonna do it like narrate it myself. Like I said, I don't have
Hmm.
the voice actors for it,
Hmm.
and I have the sound effects though. Like I could create the sound effects, no problem. Like that's no
Hmm.
problem. Like there's sci-fi sound effects anywhere, you know.
That's cool.
But the thing is, I don't have the voice actors that are here from Earth, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, because like you were saying,
Because
there's like 10 people.
exactly. And they're
Hmm.
all from, and they're from 10 different countries.
Yeah, that would be like a job to try to get people to do that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, for example, like Mexico, the Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, China, Mongolia. Japan, America,
Cool.
of course, and what else? Um, I think, and France.
Hmm. Oh, that's so
So
cool.
mixing all those 10, it's a little bit, tricky. I
Yeah.
mean, I
Hard
can
to get
find
people
Mexico.
involved.
Sorry.
Lori and I work on some projects, and it's very hard to get people involved.
Oh, yeah.
Or they'll say they're going to do it, and then they change their mind. So it's hard. We get that.
Yeah, because I mean, I could find Mexico. That's no problem. Like, someone from
Hmm.
Mexico, I could, and someone from America, I have tons of friends. But
Hmm.
like Indonesia, I have. But like the Philippines, I have. But like I don't have is like someone from France, or
Hmm.
like someone from like uh what's it called, like Vietnam, Mongolia,
Hmm.
or
Right.
even Japan. So see,
Hmm.
those will be the ones missing, and if I take that off, it's like, well, it's not fun anymore.
Hmm. Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, trying to find all those people because you got like half of them, but you still need some more. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't blame you for just narrating it. That's very cool, though. Yeah, absolutely. That's fun. Do it. That sort of stuff is fun to do.
I like that
You
kind of
know,
stuff.
it is. And like, I loved your equally messed up series, so I know this is going to be really good too. Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff.
Because the creativity that goes on, that you put into it is really, really cool. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, and from my friends, they wonder, they have asked me, but I forgot to ask. Like, it's like they're wondering if what you think of the story. They say like, he's like, what do they think? Or like, I say I don't know.
I think it's very cool. I really
Yeah.
love it. And what we're like right now, I'm just need to go listen to 4 and 5, but I want to go back because I know there's more coming. I want to go back to the beginning and listen to it all again, but all at
Yeah.
once.
Yeah. I like to
And
do
that
it that
way,
way too.
yeah, and that way I can really soak it in because it is so cool. Like, I'm loving it. You go from these different scenes, and then Zaid sort of narrates, and like the
Cool.
narrator sort of talking about what's going on, and then you get some music, and then you got some fights, and you got all kinds of things going on, and it's like, this is so cool.
I'm definitely gonna
I,
have to check
I
it out,
love
bro.
it.
You'll have
I
to give me the
love it.
links.
Yeah, I'll send them to you because I mean it's and like they're only like what 30-40 minutes long or so, and it's and all the characters are so well thought out. And Zaid, that's what I mean. Zaid, you're just very talented. Like, you're gifted, and
Mhm.
that's all there is to it. Like, people, it's very hard for people to be able to create content like that keeps people's attention for more than 15
Yeah.
minutes. And you really can do it. Like, I'm telling you, you got me hooked on that audio series.
You
I'm
d-
serious. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go back now and do all of them again. And but this time I'm gonna seriously make sure I got no interruptions, and I'm gonna totally just soak it in because the characters are so cool. Yeah, so cool.
You were
My,
talking a little bit about that the other day. You were saying about his series. I haven't had
Hmm.
a chance to check it out. The last couple weeks have just been too busy, but
Oh, yeah. For you, it's been nuts. I know that. Like, your life has been nutty right now. Yeah.
yeah, too much
So,
going on.
but I know eventually you will,
Yeah.
and I think you're really going to like them. To be honest with you, because man, I'm telling you, the amount of work that went into that, that's phenomenal. So yeah, you can let everybody know that was in there. Like, and I do leave comments on them when I finally get to each one, and be sure and let them know that I think it's absolutely fantastic, man. It's top notch. Yeah, like,
yeah.
yeah, it is. It's not easy to do that, and I
No.
think that this is, for me, when I think about the work that goes into that, because I don't know, I've never been an actor or a voice actor or tried to play a part in anything. You know what I mean?
No
Like,
worries, no worries. I mean, we know a little bit about acting, but we also not like, how you say it? Like we also just learning, as we go along. I mean,
mhm,
if you listen to our first one, I think our first one was, it's not out there yet, but it will one day. The first audio story we did was a new beginning, and
Hmm.
in a new beginning we did good, but I mean there were some mistakes, like but no one notices though, and then
They won't
this
notice it.
I
That's
was
right.
going to
yeah.
say we all make mistakes,
The
so it's
second one, like I came from India to Mexico. It was the first one I did actually, for me. Um, and for me, it was tough to do because I had to speak both languages, English and Spanish.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll forget that I am speaking English, and then like I would say things, but then I kept, doing it. And then
Oh
the
no.
third, the third one though is out already in YouTube. It's called A Date in America, and that one,
Oh, I
uh,
saw that. Yeah, I didn't listen to that one yet.
yeah, that one I messed up because I'm supposed to have a Mexican accent, the whole story, I'm supposed to be talking like this instead
Yeah.
of like this,
Right.
but But
So,
it's the but then I forgot, and then like as the story went on, I lost my accent. So,
that's funny.
that is
That's,
funny.
you know what though? Most people wouldn't probably really notice. You
No.
said like me when I did that documentary last week for what we were doing for this advocacy thing. I noticed all the little things I did that I screwed up on, and I
Yeah,
told
but
Donna.
no, but
I said there's some things in there that really are not exact. I needed to edit them out, but I didn't do it because
perfect.
I just left it. And Donna's like, it's great, no problem.
It's
And
the
I'm
thing
like,
is sometimes you
I
can
can
make
see all
something
those
too
things.
perfect, but sometimes you make
Yeah,
it too perfect, or there's parts like you can cut out that are really good and you're cutting them out because you think they're not right or they're not a good fit. That documentary you did was incredible. And Zaid,
oh,
the videos that I had seen that you had done, they were pretty great too. So I
yeah,
think sometimes we overthink things because we're so afraid of people judging us. And
yeah.
Lori, you and I being in the public eye, whether it's with our writing or our advocacy work, we have had people verbally attack us for different things or say really negative things. And I think that we're always expecting negativity, but sometimes you just got to be yourself and do what you do and let the haters hate and move on.
Yeah,
But the
that's right.
documentary was perfect. So
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
it
But yeah,
was.
it's
And
just
Saeed, don't you worry about what anybody thinks or says. Your work is incredible. We
oh,
like
thank
it.
you.
We like it. So
That's awesome.
don't ever let
what?
anybody make you
Yeah, I
feel
want to
bad
like.
or that it wasn't correct because there in art I've learned as especially as a painter, I've learned and I'm just an amateur painter, but I've learned that it's creativity and you're the master of your own designing plan and no one else should be judging you on your work. I mean, you're going to always have a critic and they're going to say something, but if you love it, that's all that really matters.
Yeah, that's right. Because it's coming from you. That's why I
Yes.
love your stuff, Saeed. Because and you can tell all your friends there that were involved. It's great. I think it's wonderful. I
You
see
should
a lot of
invite
it.
some of your friends on the show with us.
Yeah, that's the thing. We need to do it on a Saturday. I think for most of them because they can't
Okay,
do it on a Wednesday night
we can
because
do that.
that's what Saeed was saying. It doesn't work for them for like a Wednesday night, but
Let's
for
Well,
some
it
of them,
works.
change
It
our
works for
schedules
one
a
of
little.
them. Yeah.
for one, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
but
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 no, we
not
can
for
change
the
our
majority.
schedules.
So yeah, we do. We need to set up a show for as many that can come on a Saturday. Wouldn't that be cool?
We'll look like
Because
the
we can
Brady Bunch on here.
seriously, we can have up to 10 people on here. Yeah. So
That's what I said. We'll look like the Brady Bunch. Remember how all the on the screen?
exactly, that would be so cool. Absolutely. Yeah, if they want to, yeah, that'd be so much fun.
We'd love that.
And yeah, so cool.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
so I think it's
I
great.
told them about it, and they're like, yeah, we would. We just well, one of them said we just have to do it Saturday because well, at least she says I need to do it Saturday because
Mhm.
but I don't know, she got free. Perhaps she could learn during the week, but I'm not sure, But I think that last time I spoke to her, she said Saturday, so
Saturdays would work for
Right.
us. We can squeeze it in our schedules. That's no
Yeah,
big deal.
that's right. Because I mean, Saturday works for me, but it's
free on weekends. The only time I'm not free is if one of the kids are playing baseball, but I can work the schedule around that. So that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So one of these days what we'll do is Donna will sit down and look at all the baseball schedules she's got for her grandkids and see when they're playing. And then if there's a Saturday that they're not playing, or there's a maybe a better time, you know what I mean? We can try to do it because that would be so much fun. Absolutely,
it would be fun.
Yeah,
I would like that.
Cool. Oh, it'd be
I'm
a blast.
excited to meet some of the people that you've been working with and sharing your creativity with.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah. It's such a cool, project that equally messed up audio series. I think it's great. So, I mean, I can't wait to do 4 and 5. That's what I'm doing actually. Like probably not tonight because it'll be too late. But tomorrow night, Friday night, one of those nights, I'm just going to zone in on 4 and 5 and just really enjoy it because I love the story. It's so cool.
Thank you. It was not gonna lie, it was hard to do.
Yeah.
I think 4 or 5. It was hard for me to do 5 because I mean in 5 um in 5 it begins the trouble with like coming back from Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is like Samuel has nightmares that he's hurting Julia.
Mm-hmm.
Like and it just like it's hard to do a character like that because how you say soldiers go through PTSD. Well, not all soldiers, but some of the soldiers go through PTSD
Right.
and like experience nightmares, or like they go back to the in their mind. And
Yeah.
that's what happens to Samuel. And then like it's a hard character to get into for me. At first, I was not gonna do it. I actually thought somebody else could do it, but then I saw what Samuel go through, and I was like, you know what? I think I need to do it because I get the character how he feels. But
Mm-hmm.
then I noticed, even for me, it's like it's tough to even
Yeah.
do Samuel because he's happy at first.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels kind of awkward doing that because I mean Samuel is around I guess 18 or 19, I believe. No, like, yeah, 18 or 19. And
Mm-hmm.
then suddenly he loses his innocence, let's just say that, with
Right.
the wars. So I don't know, for him it's a shock, and then also for Julia, his girlfriend. And then the thing is, everything happens too fast for him. He loses. I think you've seen that part where he loses Sweetly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and then and then he gets with Julia, and then whether now something I wondered though, and it's that why did Samuel got a girlfriend afterwards? Like, you know, um, he could have wait, for
Yeah.
a few, years probably, but maybe because I don't know, perhaps he did not want to be alone. It doesn't say in
Yeah.
the story, but I guess maybe that's why. And then after months, then the war comes, and so it. I think it was too much for Samuel, and then
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be hard to do actually,
Would.
to play that character. But you know, I mean, it's it's an honest look at what so many people go through. That come out of the military with PTSD, and so I think it's good to play that part and to share what's in your heart about that sort of situation, even though it's hard. Yeah, it wouldn't be one of your most fun characters to play. I mean,
No.
the most fun scenes, I guess I should say. No, because some of those scenes are funny. Some are like it's got everything. That's what I was gonna say. It's got everything. Like
Hmm.
it's got fun. You know, there's fun stuff. Then there's like stuff that makes you mad. Then there's stuff that makes you cry, and then there's stuff that makes you laugh. And it's just kind of got everything. It's a great
Yeah,
story. Yeah, yeah, you'll love it, Donna. Just wait till you see it. Wait,
I
like, wait
can't
till
wait
you
to
listen
check
to
it
it.
out.
Because
I
when
love
we're
some of you sent me a couple links of his before, and I listened to it, and I really liked it, and I loved his
yeah,
music too. The singing, I
yeah,
thought that was really incredible.
it is. I know. I love it. I think it's great. So yeah, I'm a fan.
Do you have more projects in the works, or do you plan to do more in the future?
I do. After Equally Messed Up, we're doing the toughest project because um one thing about Hannah Eileen is we try to touch topics that are kind of taboo topics, you know.
Right?
I know all about
Um,
them.
and it's a little bit hard to do because you don't know how, like again, you know, some people will react like, oh, like
Oh yeah,
you should not talk about that because, and that's the thing, people are scared of it, you know. I
yeah,
mean,
Hmm.
they may say that they're not scared of it, but they ignore it, if that makes sense.
yeah. They
Right. Right.
And
they do.
so,
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah.
it's like, I think that's the problem with us, people, that we ignore things, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
no one worries about like that. I mean, I understand that we all have our own lives, you know. I get that, you know. I'm not telling you to worry 24 hours a day, you know. No, no. But I am
Right.
saying that be aware that those things happen in the world, you know. But
That's right.
I think people who are, I will not say just America or Canada, or I will say anyone who lives like a king or a princess, as you say that, you know, or I mean, I had to say, like, who has not to face, who has the chance to face no fear, if that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And some people be like, well, you know, my life is tough and blah blah. Yeah, but if you knew what was going on, like in the streets, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
like with some, I don't want to say messed up families, but with some let's just say families that are like, who think in a different way, you know.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
uh, you will know that actually your life is a little bit kind of easy,
Yeah.
you know. So anyway,
Yeah.
the topic we're trying to touch about, it's gonna be hard. And I talked to the, well, to one of them, to one of the Jamily members, because I asked her, hey, you know, like, you're gonna be the villain. I say, you know, like, you're gonna play the bad character. I say, what do you think? And she's like, I think I can do it. And I say, sure. And she's like, yeah, it's just acting. I mean, I say, I know, but
Yeah.
you know, like, I don't, you know, cause you're gonna have to be bad in this one. And I mean, I know it's a acting thing. I said, but you know, you are from this, like, the thing is, when religion comes, you know, I had to be so sensitive, so sensitive,
Mm-hmm.
so careful, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Because in this story, it involves how you say what's the word in English, like insensibly, what's the thing called, it's like
Sincerity.
insanity. Yeah, there it goes. Like, you like a family member loves a family member,
Oh,
and
it's like
you know,
incestuous or whatever.
that what's it called,
Incestuous.
incestuous. There goes
Yeah.
incestuous. And so that's the topic we try to carefully you know touch, you know.
Right.
And it's gonna be a little tricky, but I think we can do it, you know. But we may have to, like, how you say, mm, make it a little bit not fun, but also like make it a little bit not too, like,
Yeah. Kind of
what's
lighten
the
it up
word?
or.
Mm-hmm.
make it not so
Soften it,
serious.
like soften it a bit, you know.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, because that's a topic that is very taboo. And for most people, they don't want to hear about it. Just
No,
it makes them, for whatever reason, it bothers most people.
makes them
Even just
uncomfortable.
to think about it. Yeah. So yeah, that would be hard to do. Absolutely. I think the world does need to talk about it. I'm a survivor of incest. So like, of child sexual abuse. So I know it's hard to get people to talk about those things. And that's why I went public with my stuff. Cause I'm like, everybody needs to talk about this because it's happening. And the world kind of still very much sensitive, doesn't want to hear about it. It's too uncomfortable, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I told my story anyway, and I'm like, I'm glad that I did.
I'm glad you did too, because think of all over the years how many times that your story has helped somebody. I was just telling my daughter-in-law today about how we used to do the check-ins on Wednesdays when we did other
Mhm.
shows.
Yep.
And, we would have different people, whether it was from incest or even physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. We had different people that was, like in AA or NA programs. And
Hmm.
they would like contact us and they would, like get in there and basically say like I have been clean for so many days, or I haven't had a drink in so many days, or I'm this many days into my healing journey. And
Right.
that helps so many different people just by you sharing your story. So I think when any of us
Hmm.
share a story or we share something that we've experienced, because when you experience firsthand, you know exactly how it affects you. It,
Hmm.
I can tell you a
That's
hundred
right.
times how you should feel or what it feels like, but unless you've experienced it, you really have no idea what it truly feels like. But I do
Yeah.
think a lot of the things that you told people and that you shared with people, especially with your story and your healing journey, I think you've helped a lot of people. And I do think when you talk about things, it helps people. And I do think that the Wellness Wednesday check ins, whether it be for alcoholics or addiction, or like I said,
Mhm.
incest or child abuse or even domestic violence, I think it helps a lot of people. And I think the more you share, the
Yeah.
better it is. And I thought the best thing in the world was you coming forward. When I first seen your blog, I was like, wow, like this lady has a story to tell, because when I first seen the blog, I didn't know you.
Hmm.
And I was
That's
like,
right.
wow, you've been through so much, but yet you're doing this, and this to heal. And I can remember listening to your broadcasts before I even knew who you were. And I used to actually recommend people go over and check you out. And I didn't
Yeah.
even know
That's
you. I
very
only
cool.
knew you by, your story. And then
Hmm.
when we started doing radio together, it was like, oh wow. And then I got to know a lot more about your story. But like by you sharing, you've helped so many people, and you should be proud of that. You really should. You've helped people
Well,
heal.
I think it is important, because the silence is the problem. It's the
Yeah.
silence is the issue. Like, people need help, and the world needs help, and
Yeah.
the more we cover it up and try to pretend it's not happening, there's nothing being done to
Exactly.
get people help. Exactly. So I
Exactly.
think
But
that's so cool. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate that.
yeah, no, I think that by you sharing, you've helped so many people. And I know just from the feedback we got when we were doing A4H radio, people love that. And people love the fact that you come on and you shared your story and you told them different journeys that you have taken to heal. I think it's
Hmm.
important. And I think your story has helped so many. And I'm
Oh,
proud of you. I'm proud of you for sharing your story, because I'll be honest, if that was me, I don't think I could have shared my story like that. Like
yeah, it was hard.
I
It was
really don't.
hard.
I'm a very private person to begin with. Like, I mean, I don't really share. I tell you stuff, I tell Lee stuff, I've told Maureen stuff. Other than that, I really don't share anything with anyone, because I've
Mhm.
been burnt in the past by people that I called friend. So I just don't open up. But it feels good to share with different people, and especially if you've experienced something,
Mhm.
and I I don't know. I just think your story is incredible. I commend you for sharing it. And you know what I really think you should do? I really think that you should put together a book about your journey moving forward and where you are today. I think that that would be so successful, because I've watched you grow. I've watched you
Mhm.
heal. and I watched you become this strong, independent woman. And I
Oh,
think
thank
that
you.
you lead so many different people. And I do think that it would be an incredible thing.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. And that's a good idea. Yeah, I could do. I was thinking about that before,
Yep.
and too much was going on at the time.
Yeah.
Um,
We all
you
get
know,
busy
we
like in
don't
our
have-
personal lives, or we
yeah,
experience things. I know
yeah.
the last couple months for me, it's like the last 10 weeks have just been so crazy, insane busy with everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking it one day at a time. And I mean, that's all I really can do, or we can really do. But,
Yeah.
like I said, but I do think that when you share your healing journey, I think that it helps. And I think that that journey would help so many different people because you do different things. You play the guitar, and that's healing for you.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't realize that that kind of a release or an outlet is healing.
Mm-hmm.
I know
Yeah,
myself,
that's right.
if I'm stressed out to the max or I'm going through something, the first thing I do is I go up to my office and I'm grabbing my paintbrushes, my paint, my canvases, and I start painting. It relieves so much. And I know yourself, you do Tai Chi and like I said,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing the guitar and you do your Bible studies. People, if they put it together to see how your journey went to heal, they could learn from you. And I think they would learn a lot from you.
Yeah, that's something we could do. Yeah, because I mean we're working on books too, Zaid. I'm working on two. Actually, I'm working on two books. One of them with Donna, and Donna's working on a book as well. So
Mhm.
we're working on finishing some projects as well. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Writing a book is a lot of work. My biggest thing is the editing. I know I can write anything you want me to write. I can write. I cannot edit. My editing sucks.
No,
I've worked with
no,
3
it doesn't.
editors. It does. It really does. I work with an editor on one book that I was hired as a freelance writer, and I think she was worse as an editor than I am. And then I worked with another editor for probably about 10 years. And then after her and I parted ways because she had things to do and I took a different rule with what I wanted to do, then that was when Lee started doing our editing. And you've edited some things for me as well. But I
Yeah,
mean,
a few.
really, I've only had a handful of people, but I do not edit. Like somebody will say to me, take a look at this. And I'm like, send it to Lori, send it to Lee. I don't do editing. I can
Yeah,
publish
well,
you and I can make it look incredible, but
I know you are a really wonderful publisher. Donna publishes books and does amazing artwork, like for the covers. She makes sure that it just looks top notch. She very creative, like absolutely.
thank you. I'm glad you liked your covers.
Well, I did. I really do. Like I changed them when I put them over on my other thing because I actually did it. I did change a little bit in the books. I did a few things in there, but
Mhm.
the originals were when I got those in my hands for the first time when I got my books published. Um, the feeling was amazing because I
Yeah.
thought it wasn't about money, it wasn't about getting famous, it wasn't any of that. It was like freedom
Mhm.
because I wasn't carrying any of that stuff anymore by myself, just holding it in. It was
Yeah.
freedom to say, this is my freedom, this is my ticket to freedom. Because my story's out there now, I don't have to carry the load, and it makes me feel great.
Mhm.
And it's just kind of like you, Zaid. I mean, you've shared so much of your own story with different interviewers and different, television broadcasts and stuff. And, it probably feels good to not have to actually be able to share it. I don't
Mhm.
know. That's how it felt for me
Yeah.
because it takes a load off and all of a sudden the burden's off and you're like, I feel good,
The
I
weight
am who
lifts
I
off
am.
your shoulders.
Yeah.
That
And I
heavy
mean,
load is just lifted off your shoulders and it makes you
yeah.
feel so much better.
Yeah. And I mean, actually, I mean, it's good to be authentic and it's good to be ourselves instead
Mhm.
of hiding behind something because we think, they won't like me or there's something about me that's just different and wrong. And so
Lori, over the
yeah.
years, I've had people that love my work. I've had different people. 2 of my favorite books that I've ever done is The Tale of Jeff the Rabbit, Trip to the City.
Hmm.
And the other one was Addison. And that was for Jen and Ken's daughter that passed away from cancer. And
Oh,
they were beautiful, beautiful books.
yeah.
As
Oh,
beautiful as they were, we had negative feedback. And it's like, okay, but if you look at the book is absolutely beautiful. And I know
Mhm.
Jen and Ken, they were really satisfied. You're always going to have somebody that hates something you say or something you do, or
Yeah, that's right.
you're never going to change people. I did a book on the Kinzu Bridge. It was just nothing but photography on
I
the
remember,
out
yeah, that book was
on
cool.
Amazon. It literally just says that it is a photo book with a brief description in the front as an introduction.
Mhm.
Um, I got all these great reviews because the photography was so pretty. And this one person, he got on there and he gave me a 1 star, and he said that he visited the bridge and he wanted to, to have the story behind it, the whole story. And it's
Mhm.
like, so like you ripped me down and called me all kinds of names in your, little review,
That's
and
not very nice.
not being rude. The book was beautiful, and you even said the book was beautiful. It just wasn't what you expected.
Yeah,
How about maybe just put on there, that you expected, whatever, or this was what you were looking for, and this was just a photo book. But
right.
people like have to just shred you right apart. They just can't be
That's
nice to you. They always have to tear you down.
that's mean. Yeah,
It
but
is.
that's
It is. So,
yeah,
Zaid, be yourself. Don't let anybody stop you. Always
yeah,
be yourself.
that's right. And I
Yeah,
mean,
the thing is,
Dream,
when you work
dream
with
big, live big.
the thing is when you work with the team, it's not a problem. It's like by all means, it's actually good working. But see, the thing with Janeline, it's a bit tricky because like one of the people thinks like this way, the other people thinks this way, and then the other people. So I have
mhm.
to combine the
Oh yeah,
ideas together, and that's the
I've been
problem.
through that. I've
Like
been
that's
through
the
that.
problem. Like I would be myself if I could. Like if I mean I don't want to say if I could, because then people like you don't want to work with us. No, it's not that. I mean um like I could be myself, yes, but I also had to like ask what they think.
Yeah.
Like hey, what you think, and then
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
feedback's always good, but don't let no one ever change your vision. I mean, feedback is great because in you know, it's a great thing to have feedback and what other people think about something you do, but don't let someone else's opinion change your opinion of what you're doing or who you are. Stay true
yeah,
to yourself, because you could change 100 times and there's always going to be somebody that finds fault with what you're doing.
yeah. That's right. There's always going to be somebody that doesn't like it, so you got to may as well just stay true to what your vision
yeah,
was.
that's what I told my friend from Indonesia, and she's like. She told me, like, hey, but it's different for us Asians. Like, I'm not talking about you culture. I'm talking about yourself. So,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
the thing I get what you're trying to say, though. I said to her, I get that your culture is like this, and I get that your family is like this, but yourself, like yourself is
As an individual, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then I mean, at the end of the day, I say you can achieve everything your family wants, but then when you die, they're not gonna say good job, right? They're gonna just probably cry for a few days and then just like forget about you. I mean, not like that, but you know what I mean,
Yeah.
Hmm.
like all the hard work that you did. At the end of the day, nobody's gonna take it nowhere. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
my mom says, the only thing you're gonna take to heaven is just a little a little pile of earth, no, a little pile of dirt, because you're lying dead in the grave.
That's it.
And she's like,
Yeah.
but she
You
says,
can't take
like, no,
anything
my
with
mom
us.
says,
Can't
it's
take
like,
anything with you to heaven.
yeah, my mom says, like, what's the point of having all these materials and all this stuff? I mean, you know, that's why that's why Hamelin was born, because like we wanted to see how we could. And I look at that. So far, it's actually going good.
Hmm.
Sometimes I end up fighting with my friend from Indonesia, like, dude, we're gonna keep it like that. I say, that's that. And so it does stay like that.
That's
but
funny.
then, but then I told her but then I also told her, you know what? You're right. I did mess up in this. Let's see how we can fix it. Or
Yeah.
like, I told her like, nah, dude, I think it's gonna be good. I don't. Like in the
It's give and
episode,
take.
Yeah,
yeah,
you have to
It's
be.
give and
Lori,
take.
even you and I working together, we're like that. like
Yeah.
it's not all my way, it's not all your way. We both give input, and
Yeah.
you
And
know,
sometimes you have to bend a little bit,
yeah, you do.
uh, to keep everybody happy, because we all can't just all get our way all the time. But sometimes you can put your foot down on certain things and it makes
Oh
sense,
yeah,
because you're like,
yeah. I've
but
done
you got
that
to see the
before.
point. And then you put your foot down a little bit, and people generally are okay with that because you're not pushing them around all the time. Exactly.
Well, yeah, I done that like with like some people, like I have
You
say,
have to.
we're doing it this way, and that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Then
Sometimes you just have to. I had a friend, and she likes to give a lot of input on things, and Lori knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times we just have to be like, no, this is what we're doing, and either get on board or deuces, see you later.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to.
Yeah, sometimes you can't compromise. I mean, it depends on what it is. I mean, a joint project, group projects, it's a little hard because there's more than one person involved. But when it's your
Mhm.
own vision and it's really your own creative idea, and really you're the one actually guiding the project, and then you got really, I mean, people got to kind of let you do your thing because that's your
Yeah,
vision, right? So when somebody comes in and starts trying to change your vision, you're like, look, I had a vision for this. It's my project.
exactly.
Yeah, sometimes we do just have to put a foot down and say no. But other times, it's
yeah,
like, oh, okay, I can bend on that a little
and
bit.
I and believe
I
me,
try
like
to be.
like I have because actually, Hamaling was not born with people from like my friends. My friends right now, they're just like they just joined like 3 years ago, I think. But
Hmm.
actually, well, actually, no. Slowly, they went to join. But this started in 2020, I think, with the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
And so I actually, started to just make audio stories, and then um, I told a friend, my friends from India, right? And a lot of them did it, it was good. And then somebody from Indonesia, one of my friends say, hey, like, I want to do it. Let me know when there's a new project. And I told him, okay, cool. So he joined too. And then ever since
Yeah, that's cool.
we just started.
That is
But
cool.
then one of my friends from India, he wanted to do audio stories, but he wanted to do it um like how you say, like in a different way. He wanted to do it for one, he did not want to he wanted to do it more action stuff,
Hmm.
Hmm.
like more action kind of thing. And I said, okay, that's okay, we can do it, just wait, like uh just wait until we finish this one, then yeah, we can do it, why not?
Hmm.
And but of course he not wait, he started to get his own cast, which I was okay with me, like at the end of the day,
Hmm.
like, I mean, you go ahead, and then he started his own thing,
Oh yeah.
because he complained that, like, uh he's like, dude, like, for one thing, you're people don't like romantic stuff anymore. People love more action stuff, like gangsters and things like that, and like criminal things, and like,
I
you
don't
know
know. I think he might be wrong because I love love. Like I love romantic stories. I love stories where people they meet, they fall in love, they get married. I love romantic stuff. So I don't
yeah,
know. I think
well,
I think
and
there's a
then
market
he's
for
like
it.
yeah, boy. And I told him, dude, maybe that I told him, I said, maybe some people, but there are people who still love those
Yeah.
stuff. I said that's, I mean, he was like, yeah, but they're old, dude. Like, that's old stuff. Like,
Hey, I'm not that old.
Well,
I know,
he's
like,
probably right. I
Not
mean,
that
I'm
old,
pretty
buddy.
old. I'm definitely old. Okay.
that's just like, he was like, that's back in the 50s, like.
But I can see younger people liking your stories, and here's the reason why.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
even though there is some, kind of feely stuff, touchy feely, emotional type things where somebody, loves another, someone falls in love and it doesn't work out or whatever. But the thing is there's also some cool action in it, where
Yeah.
there's like some brawls in an alley. There's some real live action where people are getting hurt, and then you're worried because you're like, oh my god, what's going to happen, so it kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat. But in the meantime, it's not all about that. It comes
No.
back into a scene of so and so grieving because he lost his loved one or whatever, or love fell apart, or whatever. It's nice. It's got a mix. You got a perfect mix there. So
And
I
that's
think young
good.
people would enjoy it too. Then you got all this really cool music in there, which is, it's the younger people would love that music because it's younger people music. So I
Yeah.
love it. I think it's great. Yeah, you're not trying to like put the old fogey music in there. Like you got young people's music in there, which is really cool. And
Yeah. And I always
yeah,
try to find the best when I search when I make the audio stories, right? Like I always tell this like I always try to find the best singing voices,
mm-hmm,
because not because I'm criticizing people. It's mostly because the story needs to be with the story.
mm-hmm.
Like
Hmm.
you don't want to be in a romantic scene and then you have somebody singing like I don't know, like
Terrible.
yeah,
That would ruin
Then-
it, really.
yeah. And then so I always try to find the best voice, whether that'll be boys and girls.
Yeah.
For example, going to the army, um, that was the I would say, and actually my friend, her name is Loti, and she from Hawaii, and she says, "Dude, I think that's the best story we ever done, according to me." She says, and I say, "Why?" She's like, "I don't know, because I." She says, "I think because of the plot,
Mm-hmm.
like Jill loves this boy, and then this boy has a secret that he's been keeping from everybody, and then his friends know, but Jill does not know. And and it's a good plot, she says,
Mm-hmm.
and it's for PG-13. She says, like teenagers can listen to it and things like this. Like it's good. Then the song, she says, oh my gosh, she says. So I'm like, okay.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
And then
Yeah,
she says, and then she also said, and also because I helped you edit it, so I think that's why. And like, okay,
that's it. Exactly. It's like, so yeah, I'm kind of biased, but I'm saying it's good.
It's good.
That's funny. Well, it is good, and I'm telling you, I think like more people need to hear it. I've been sharing. I'm going to keep sharing it out on everywhere I can, and um, you know, I think it's awesome. You
I
know.
always, I always ask people this, and like people who have listened to it, not people who have, but like, equally messed up. Like I would say, like, how will you describe like the characters? Like, mm, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, for
Hmm.
example, how will you describe Samuel or something like that?
Yeah. Well, that's just it. Because in your mind, you get a picture of these people. Like as I'm listening to it and getting into it in my mental mind's eye, I'm picturing this stuff, especially the brawl, the fight in the alley, and in the night, in the dark, um, and I'm thinking I can see all these shadowy figures, and I'm sitting there just going, "This is intense," like
Mhm.
unbelievable. The amount of work that went into that, and that's talent. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, it is like to uh, because most people, it's all visual nowadays. I
Yeah.
mean, the world is visual. I mean, it's all movies, what you see with your eyes, not so much what you hear in your imagination. because it's all there in front of you. You don't even have to use your imagination, right? But
No.
when you hear an audio story, I mean, that you get to use your own imagination, and you get
Mhm.
to, you really get to get into it. Like, if somebody's not showing you what it is, you get to, you get, your mind gets to see it. It's your own thing. It's so awesome. Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, that's why I'm saying I want to go back, and because I've only listened to 1 through 3 one time, so I want to go back. I'm going to do 4 and 5, and then I'm going to go back all the way to 1 and go all the way back up, maybe a couple of times, because I really love the story and I want to get more into it because it's too, it's actually, there's so much going on. You can't catch it in, you can't catch it with the one time through.
Mhm.
There's a
Yeah,
lot going
it
on.
jumps a lot too.
And and that's the thing, and it's like, the characters are solid, and but it's the whole idea that there's all this stuff to think about from scene to scene. And so it's like, and then episode 2 comes, and I'm like, I'm not, I need to still figure out what's going on in
Mhm.
episode 1. So it's deep. I think it's really
Yeah.
cool. It's very cool. It's way, I know the people out there who are, who probably do plays, write for playwrights, people who
Mhm.
are script writers for uh, sitcoms, different things like that,
Mhm.
uh, playwriters, play acting. But I know that they would see that that is definitely talent right there. It really is. You're gifted. You're definitely gifted.
We're
Yeah.
very gifted.
I will say the favorite character I created, it's actually an equally messed up. Not Samuel though, not Julia either, but uh, his name is, well, his real name is Henry.
Hmm.
And but they call him PJ, and I like PJ because he's funny. He he's very funny in the story. Like he teases Julia a lot.
Yeah.
Like in episode 2, he says Julia is in love. And he makes fun of her, but in a good way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And but then also it shows you that even if he's funny, like he also has a problem. Like he, I mean, his sister goes away, and then
Hmm.
he has that problem adjusting. Uh, the thing is, he doesn't show it. That's the thing, like. And it makes you wonder, like, what's happening, to him, like, because
Hmm.
one way he's in a few episodes he's happy, and then some episodes he's like, I don't know, like he doesn't show his emotions, but you could tell like sometimes he's sad.
Right.
And
See, that's how well thought out that is. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Um, yeah. That's all I can say. That's real talent. That's real talent. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm going to keep sharing those out, and I just want people to check it out because it's really cool.
Please remember to share the links with me.
I will. I put the in the description of this show. I put your link, Saeed. I put your YouTube channel for Zaid the Miracle Survivor, and I also put Jamaline Official on there. So
Oh,
if anybody, people watching, you should be um, clicking on those links and go check out Zaid's stuff because you will be amazed. I mean, I'm telling you, the creativity that goes in, that's involved in that is unbelievable.
mhm.
You know, it's definitely worth checking out.
I know the
So
few videos you sent me before, they were really incredible.
hmm definitely. So yeah. So I think it's fun. Yeah, it's a lot of. It's very cool because it's all inside. It's all inside your head and your heart.
Yeah.
All those characters, and it's all comes out, and you have an idea for it, and these people come alive. And then all the people in John Eileen that are helping you help to bring them alive, and they're doing a great job because
Mhm.
some of those characters are not easy to play. Some of them are
No.
bullies. So one of the girls is a bully, and one of them there's some racism going on.
oh
One of the,
yeah, it was
yeah,
hard to do that, those how you say, those scenes,
yeah,
because
I bet.
there was
Oh, I bet.
the especially the um they say discrimination exists everywhere, but actually I would say that here, I mean, I don't want to, talk bad about countries, but I think in the United States, maybe because of the history, I'm not sure why though, but segregation has been, I would say though, it has gone better, like it has
Yeah.
gone a little better. But I think it's still a problem, and people
Oh
don't
yeah.
see it, and people don't see it how it is. And
That's
let me
right.
explain. Maybe not with the like people like who are African American or white,
Mm-hmm.
but it's going on right now with the Hispanic community.
Oh
Even
yeah.
even amongst Hispanic though, I would say that even Hispanic, like how can I explain? They attack each other anyway,
Right.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, like it's like you think you're just good because you speak English and all this stuff, like, well, like you
Right.
know what I mean. And so I would say like maybe that's why I made this story up, because what's happening right now, like,
Mm-hmm.
with the segregation with the Hispanics, and I mean it's not happening like back in the old days, of course,
No,
but
but it's getting bad, and especially with what's going on in the world right now and the southern border, um, people are starting to get a little hostile, and
exactly.
I can imagine how Hispanic people who have there's people that have citizenship, they're not there illegally, and all of a sudden the world's looking at them because they're Hispanic, and it's like, you know that's sad to me. That's very very sad. Um, that's how cultures are, though. Even in the melting pot of North America, because North America is made up of every culture you can think of, pretty much. We're all there. They're all represented. You know, there's some people from all around the world in North America. But the
The
thing
thing
is like,
yeah.
all of a sudden, what's now there's a southern border problem. So what? So now everybody's going to be all looking at the Hispanics sideways, like they're up to no good or something, and maybe not even want to hire them because it's like, well, with this southern border problem, I guess we can't hire anybody who's a Hispanic. This is how people are. That's really
That's
sad.
sad.
It
That's
is.
sad.
It's not.
I
It's not.
don't look I don't look at people like that. Like
No.
I don't know. Like I hear a lot of people talk about different cultures or different um, colors of people. I don't look at people like that. I don't
Mm-mm.
judge you. I have friends that are black. I have friends that are white. I have friends that are Asian. I have friends that are
Mm-hmm.
Mexican. Um, I don't judge people like that. I never taught
No,
my children to judge, and my grandchildren are not taught to judge.
that's
Um,
right.
I go by how somebody treats me, and I don't like to really say anything negative about anybody because unless you know them personally, you really don't know anything about them. You
That's
can make
right.
an opinion about somebody by looking at them, but that doesn't mean that that person is who or what you think they are.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
I am not big on the judging people. I don't
Mm-mm.
mistreat
Yeah.
people. It's just not part of who I am.
It's not
Um,
right.
no.
Well, the thing I would like to say though, that's the problem of this country, not Canada, I mean America, it's like they have been having this, for years, like it's not just now,
Yeah, that's true.
they've been having it like for years.
Yeah.
If it's not with the Hispanic community, they attack uh, the Muslim society. If they don't attack the Muslim society, they attack, like, I don't know, like people from China, or like you know what I mean. In World War II, they attacked the Japanese by putting them
Mhm.
into camps. So it's just a problem of this country. Like that. It's like, how can I say it? Mm, in a friendly way, like it's something that they're learning, each day, I guess. Like,
Yeah,
but
hopefully.
yeah,
I think
hopefully that's what I'm
people
trying
got
to
to
say. Like,
stop
hopefully,
judging.
but it
I think
seems like
people got to
they
stop judging other people. And
it
I
seems
think
like
you
they
have to get
repeat the
to
same
know
mistake.
someone. Yeah, but people have to stop judging other people. You can't make an assumption of what somebody is by
Mhm.
what somebody says or does or what somebody else thinks. You have to know that person personally. And it's wrong
Mhm.
to judge somebody by the way they look. I'm sorry, but it's wrong. And
Yeah, it
nobody
is.
has that right to do that. No one has the right to look at somebody and say, because you look different, you're the problem.
Right.
No,
No,
because
I know
here's
that's not right, man.
I don't want to be rude when I say this, but there's just as many white people that are in jail as any other culture.
Oh
So
yeah,
when people say that, it kind of
absolutely.
pisses me off because no, like you don't pick one race or
No,
you don't. That's just wrong on all levels.
it is. It's absolutely incredibly wrong because I grew up in New Mexico, and um, there was a lot of problems in New Mexico when I was growing up between the whites, between the Hispanics, between the blacks. I mean, everybody was fighting. There was a lot
Uh,
of gang.
right there, I have a question. So when you listen to the story, equally messed up. I don't know. Did that brought you back? Like, I mean, not back like that, but I mean, did that reminded you a little bit like what you said when you were growing up?
Yeah, definitely. Hmm. Yeah, oh yeah, because
Like, did that describe a little bit what happened?
oh, totally. Because that's exactly what was going on when I was especially in high school. Um, when I was in high school in 1980s, like 1981, 82, there was a big problem with gangs, and it was the Hispanics against everybody was against each other. So it wasn't just the Hispanics against so and so. It was like every single ethnic group was against each other. And so everybody pulled off in their own ethnic groups. So everybody, the whites were against everybody, the blacks were against everybody. It was terrible, and we had these race riots, and um, we had camera crews coming, and they were literally filming these riots while they were happening. And this is on our campus when I was in high school. They were like the SWAT teams would have to come and like throw tear gas, and it was really bad. A couple of people got hurt really badly. A cheerleader got beat up, and almost like really in bad shape because she was pretty and she was wearing her cheerleader outfit. Somebody just wanted to beat her up. So I witnessed a lot of this stuff, and even myself, I had friends who I had Native American friends like from like Isleta tribe and the Hopis, and I had friends who I had a lot of my friends were Hispanic from Mexico, and um, you know elsewhere like other places, yeah, El
Yeah.
Salvador, Guatemala. I had friends. I had black friends. Like I had all these friends from all these different nations, people around me, pretty
Yeah.
much in mostly in junior high, seventh and eighth grade. And at that point, it was like, why? Yeah, we should just all be friends. You know what I mean? But when I
Hmm.
got into high school, it was a whole different story because that high school was already segregated out. Everybody was in their own little cliques, and so yeah, your story definitely reminds me of that. And I think that's what's really good. Like um, I mean, I mean, even if it wasn't your mission, Zaid, like to tackle these really serious topics, but still in a fun way. That's actually what you're doing, and I think it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant because it's a message that is important for people to hear, but it's not like hammering it down their throat, going, you have to hear this. It's in
Yeah.
a it's in a story that's fun and interesting, and you get these characters, and you get to learn all about their stories within the story. It's so cool. Yeah.
Hmm.
I would say though, the only time they will unite like the races, like the all kinds of race, it was at war. Like like for example, if like the let's say the governor, if they were running out of like I don't know, like white soldiers, let's just say that,
Hmm.
they will send like um they will ask for volunteers from like the Hispanic or like
Yeah.
you know like Asian or and black and all that stuff, and they'll put them sometimes in World War II, I heard that the Japanese had their own, the Japanese Americans, they
Mm-hmm.
had their own unit, like
Yeah.
they were not allowed to, well, only the higher commander, right? It was allowed to talk to like the white commander, right? But that was it.
Right.
Like, but if you were not in the unit, then you could not, you know what I mean? And so, like,
Mm-hmm.
really, like that was the way it was. Like they like, you know, and then I heard
Yeah.
I watched a documentary about Korea, about like the war in Korea,
Right.
uh, because and then I also heard that there they did say Hispanics too, like into Korea, but
Yep.
I think they got mixed. I think but then, no, a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. Uh, it wasn't until Vietnam, I think, that finally they all got mixed together.
Right.
I
Mm-hmm.
think I could be wrong, but I think it wasn't until Vietnam, and so
Mm-hmm.
that's
I think you're
why.
right.
So I think that's what equally messed up describes good a little bit what kind of happened, because like um it shows you how they sent Samuel to a war that he was not even aware of. Like
Mm-hmm.
in the story he says um the commander, no, Julia, like uh we could destroy the Vietnamese with our powerful weapons and blah blah. And then Julia tells him, do you think the Vietnamese are gonna stop fighting? And just because you throw bombs and things like that. And then
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, he realizes, like, why am I even here? Like, this is not the war that
Right.
I came to fight, because he has white leaders, obviously, like sergeants or command, and they order him to, like, torture a prisoner,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, no. And so I may be spoiling a little bit, but it has to do with the topic,
Yeah.
but he ends up shooting his own congress, because they order him to do something that he did not want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess Samuel did the right thing there. But I will say, though, y- I guess that was too much for him, and maybe that's why he have all those nightmares and all those things, and
Right.
you know and then,
PTSD and all that. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And so at the end of the day, he's paying for a war that he didn't even ask for. And I think
Yeah.
that's the thing with segregation too. Like when you're not needed, they don't need you. But when they see that they need you, they'll call you, if that makes sense.
Right. Otherwise, just stay in your own little corner. Exactly. Yeah. So, in other words, you're not significant unless they need you. Right. See, that's sad. And that's why, yeah, I think it's great. I love your story. I think it's so important. There is a lot of cool stuff in it. It's not just like seriousness, because then, like you're saying, it would be kind of sad. But there's, like I said, there's happy times, there's funny times. It's got me like laughing, and then other times I'm like crying, and then there's other times I'm mad and angry, and then other times I'm like happy and jumping around. So it's got a little of everything in there, and I think that's what's exciting about it. It's definitely not boring.
And yeah, and like you said, there is songs, like not old age songs.
Yeah,
There's new songs.
the
Like.
old, the old
Old
folks.
people songs,
I
songs
think it's
for us,
cool.
Lori.
That's it. Like I mean, our songs. I think some of the stuff we listen to would still be acceptable. But the thing is like this is music that is really fresh, like for today's generation,
Yeah,
and that's way beyond me. I don't even
I'm
know
a
what the fresh stuff is.
I'm a Hair
So
Nation girl. I like
yeah,
hair bands from the '80s. They are
yeah.
like
See, that's
my
the thing. I listen to
favorite.
older stuff, so it's kind of so much fun to listen to the music that Zaid has on there because it's like on that on that equally messed up series because it's the music of today, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I am loving every minute of it. Yeah,
I would say
absolutely.
though, the older song we put there, was necessary because it was the soldiers
Oh yeah,
song. It was I think it went what I think it went something like where have the flowers gone, I think.
oh yeah, yeah. Okay,
And yeah, I would say that one, it was good because it described how the soldiers were feeling, and
right, right.
and
And for the
then
Vietnam War, that's right. Yeah, because I was born during the Vietnam War, so I remember when I was really little. I remember people coming back from the Vietnam War,
My dad
and
was in the Vietnam War.
yeah, that's right. So my dad was in World War II, so that tells you. Um, but uh, yeah, I mean, it had a major effect on people. It absolutely did. And
anyway, I think I jumped on topic, but what I meant to say was it was hard to do those scenes with the friend who who had to do that the racist who had to do the bully thing,
right, right.
because she was
I think it
like,
was.
and we talked to Wealthy because our friend, like, she's black,
Hmm.
and we were like, Wealthy, you gotta be bully. And she's like, okay, cool. I'm like, no, no, it's not like, it's not cool. I said, but like, I joked at her like, it's not cool, but
Cool.
I, I said it's not cool because Millie is going to say racist things to you, like black
Yeah,
girl and things like that. And she's like, okay, cool. Like, she's like, okay, okay. Then, like, I just told her, so don't get offended later.
right.
Don't take it too
Because
personally.
it's just a yeah, it's just an act. Like it's not for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
But that's
I
good that you
also
told her. Yeah.
I also like how the story is put because it goes back. It even goes back to show you how sweetly it was when she was a child,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
like how she defended her friend, and
Yeah.
then it shows you how when she was a teenager, these things happened,
Hmm.
and then when she was in high school, no, sorry, middle school, and then high school, and then yeah, and then she leaves,
Yeah, it's so cool. Like it's got a real like that's what I'm saying. The story is amazing. It weaves in and out of these different scenes and characters, and so it's not boring. Like you can't get bored in it because it changes from one thing to something else, and you move from that thing, and then you move back into this thing. But in the next series, you might go back and visit some of that stuff um,
I
to
like
tell you
that.
kind of. Yeah, it's
I
cool.
like
It's
that. I love when books do that.
Yeah, it's really, really good. That's what I'm saying. Like, I love it myself. I'm right into it.
and
I'm
sometimes
like,
it
this
repeats
is,
a little bit what happened before, like
yeah,
it repeats a little bit what happened. I think it does that with episode 4 or 5, I think.
yeah,
Like you watch at the end, and then next thing you know, you hear the part where it was about to end, and then it continues from there, if that makes sense.
yeah. That's cool. Yeah, like I say, I got to watch four, and I'm gonna listen to 4 and 5 this weekend, and I'm gonna totally zone out and get right into it. And then at some point, I'm gonna go back and listen to them all in a row, and then really catch it because that's the thing. Like now, it's been weeks since I've been able to listen to since I listened to 3, and I kept saying, "Oh my God, I'm gonna listen to 4," and I never get into because I don't want to just listen to it when I'm rushing off. Like I don't want to put it on like let's say I got an appointment at 1. I don't want to put it on at 12. Hurry through it and run to put my shoes on and run out the door because
Yeah.
I want to experience it. It's like an experience. It's like going to the
Mhm.
movies or something. So I'm going to literally do it on a night when I don't have anything to do. Nothing's going on, you know, and then I can just get right into it. Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
cool. I love it. I'm just all a fan of it, man. It's so cool. So that's the thing. I can't wait. I know you have a very creative mind, and
Hmm.
you know,
Very creative.
yeah, and a lot of interesting abilities to bring things to light, yeah, very cool. Right on. So we're at 2 hours. Do we want to take our half-hour break?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need a drink.
Okay. We'll take a 30-minute break, and then we'll come back for part 2. So everybody join us. You can see there's a part 2 link. You can just click on that in 30 minutes, and we'll be there. And hopefully you can come back and join us at part 2, Zaid.
Oh yeah, I will.
Oh, sweet. Right on. Okay, cool. Okay, everybody, we'll talk to you in a half an hour.
We'll be back.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, come back for part 2 and join us in the chat room. You got to come and say hello.
Yeah.
Bye for now.